lovely friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again today in a relationship. In a relationship with one another, in a relationship with life, in a relationship with time, in a relationship with our technology, in a relationship with the water we drink, with the things we read. Thank you for entering in a relationship with me right now in this moment. I want to talk today about being free, setting ourselves free even within our relationships, and how to do that. How we basically feel sometimes trapped in relationships with other people, how we can make other people feel trapped in a relationship with us, and how we can change things. Not necessarily about ourselves, but maybe about our expectations of others, and how we can live happier, more full, more free, more understood, I feel. Is it understood? You, as an infinite being, have chosen to participate in a form of experience. It is seriousness within the mind that is the creation of ego. I come forth to meet you wherever you are because I have chosen to use the infinite power of consciousness given of me by the universe, as it is equally given unto you. Thank you for joining me, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Brother Isaac, thank you. I don't know if you saw, but I did a whole dance stream. Like Wednesdays are my attitude of gratitude streams, if you will, where I say thank you to you friends who are willing to support me. Thank you to Reddit, for supporting, at least hosting, these streams as well. And I cannot thank you enough, dude. Thank you so, 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 so much. Thank you. Genuinely know that there is no expectation. First and foremost, even though that you have been willing to help me, by donating on the Patreon, there is no expectation for you to do that. There's no expectation for you to continue doing that. Know that I appreciate it eternally, nonetheless. It is so surreal to me what this journey has become, friend. What you friends have shown me is possible not only in my life, but in the lives of other people. Showing me how you have changed, showing me how you have grown into being your own person, how you've allowed yourself things in life that you didn't, and how by allowing yourself more things in life, you experience more of it. It has been a surreal journey. Thank you. Thank you so much, Isaac. Good morning, Melty says. Good morning, friends. Thank you for coming together this fine hump day. It's hump day today? The more you know. Hermias Blur, friends. Okay, I guess there's no time like the present. So, today's message, if you will, today's lesson that I had thrusted upon me is one of relationships, and more specifically, achieving freedom in our relationships. And this is not necessarily freedom to do as you wish, freedom to, kind of disobey, disrespect, hurt even, but more a freedom in the way that you interact with one another, a freedom in the way that you see one another, and freedom in the way that you move through each other's space. And the lesson, if you will, I was like listening to a Ram Dass, talk, if you will, or maybe like a section. He was going into detail about how when you have some sort of expectation, when you want another person to be differently, even though you might not be vocally saying it to them, like, oh, this thing that you're doing, I don't want you to be doing this, yada, 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 yada. Without even saying it, there is going to be some sort of tension, some sort of resistance in that person because you want them to be differently. And on top of that, like that is like the initial like one liner. The reason we feel tension with one another is because we have expectations of one another. And those expectations can be anything from, material, emotional, like physical, financial, whatever. There's so many expectations that we have of someone or some of our friends or our loved ones sometimes, that we technically trap ourselves in a loop of tension with that person, where that person feels like they can't be themselves. They can't be who they are because you want them to be differently. And it is so beautiful to me how much that makes sense in context of the things that I've experienced in my own life, where if you are constantly expecting another person to be differently, or you're addressing things that should be differently, that energy is going to be returned to you. And the very relationship where I feel I have the most tension, where I have the most of this feeling of I wish this person was differently, is with the relationship I have with my dad. And as I was listening to this lesson, absorbing it and really sitting with it, I was just referencing over and over again how, even without saying it, definitely thinking it, I've wanted for my dad to be differently. And then as a result of that, he mirrored back to me that exact same want. you know, oh, I wish you would be different. And he looking back at me being like, oh, I wish you would be different. And by stopping that, we free ourselves in that relationship to be more loving with one another, to understand one another, to try and find things that we have, in common, instead of finding the things that we want changed, finding the things that we want to be differently, finding the things that we want to stay the same, if you will, the opposite of wanting it to be differently. And it is such a beautiful understanding to me, and I really do want to start implementing it with my dad as well, because it's a mental thing, like looking at a person, having a conversation with him or her. There can be this feeling inside of us like, how could you, how dare you think this way, how could you whatever, blah, 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 inside of us. We don't necessarily say it, but we can feel that way. And kind of addressing, noticing that feeling to want this person to be differently, and then not. I know it's easier said than done, but at least, by making ourselves aware that just wanting a person to be differently, we could inadvertently create tension in that situation, relationship, environment. That being said, then there is the other side of this equation, feeling, understanding, where there is, let me preface this with, these are things that I believe. I believe we are these infinite beings, basically nodes of God experiencing the totality of infinity, and there is so much that has been given to us, so much that we have to be grateful for, the very air we're breathing right now, semi-tolerable temperatures. I'm not straight up just dying from the heat outside. Having little animals, that co-create with us, is in a web of relationship with us. Having access to water, we all have all of these basic needs met, and yet we still can look at another person in a situation and be like, I want you to be differently. On top of everything you have given me, from this context of you've given me everything, looking at the other side of infinity, I want you to give me this other thing as well, because I'm lacking, or this experience is lacking, or you are lacking. And it's surreal how much we do that. So, as an exercise, if I can give you an exercise, instead of looking at the person, try and almost blur your vision and look at the rest of reality as you're looking at that person. Literally all of reality. Like, I mean, you can imagine it mostly. You can't really see it, but like, as you're looking at this person, imagine, all of the birds and the bees, all of the plants, growing and providing oxygen, all of the clouds in the sky, some of them maybe just hanging, some of them maybe pouring water, all of the oceans and the fish in them. Try and experience all of existence as you're looking at another person, and try and appreciate them as much as you would appreciate all of existence. Because if we can shift our mindsets, our lens, through which we're looking at people with that level of gratitude, seeing the infinity, seeing everything that ever has been, could be in them, it makes it a lot easier to not expect something of them, not to expect even more of them. You're like, oh my goodness, you have done so much. You have created this entire reality. You have given, all of the beings life. You have provided so much infinitude. How could I possibly expect even more of you? And I appreciate you, friends, so much. I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything. If I were to expect anything, something, it would just be that you're happy. And I don't know if that's an expectation. I don't know if it's a toxic expectation to have. Maybe it would be if the expectation is you should be happy. If you're not happy, then that's a problem. No, like expecting is probably just that. All I want is for you to be happy. All I want is for you to see this world as beautiful, as full, as worth living. And if we can share that way of seeing the world, wanting to live, wanting to see the beauty, I believe we're going to continue seeing beauty, wanting to live. And I wonder sometimes how much of the things I think and feel are informed by my previous years of being extremely depressed and not seeing the point of all of this. Am I am I saying the things I'm saying because I'm trying to change myself? Because I'm trying to change the world? Because I expect something of the world? Do I want things to change to validate my own way of seeing the world as well? And then on top of that note, what has the roles I've been playing in my life, the roles other people have been playing in my life, what does that have to do with this expectation loop as well? Because within roles, technically, and I think this is something we have to notice as well, we are the ones that choose the roles. We're the ones that kind of have to show up for the role it is we want to play. And there can be expectations attached to the roles we choose to play. So there's balance that needs to be met in that understanding as well, where it can create tension within a relationship if it's a relationship and the relationship is the relationship for the value of the relationship, and you have expectations within that for the other person to be differently. But if that person have chosen for themselves a role that they want to play, technically they automatically write themselves a list of things that you can expect of them. And, in the note of what it is we're doing here, I've taken the role of an ember keeper. I'm keeping this little ember alive. We're sharing love here. We're like, woo, dancing around the fire, sharing light with one another. And then when this fire gets put out, so we don't burn the entire world down, I take that little ember with me and I nurture it. I blow on it every now and then. I think about you, friends. I think about the things that we discussed. I think about the next class, or not really class, the next stream, and what it is we want to talk about. I ask for wisdom. I ask for lessons, and it genuinely feels like that there is this ember burning inside of me. And then as soon as we come back into this space, that ember basically gets reignited. Blown a little bit, we fan some things we're saying on top of it, and then this fire starts to burn in this space, among one another. And that is the role I've taken. So an expectation that you can have of me is that I fulfill my role, that I actually show up for this role that I've taken. And in that way, I feel because I've taken this role, even though you might have this expectation of me, it is not something that is creating contention or a sense of disconnect with me, because the expectation that you have is something that I'm capable of. Where sometimes the expectations we have, they aren't necessarily, or the people that we have them of aren't necessarily not capable of them. But because we have that expectation, it can cause them to have feelings of self-doubt, first and foremost, or, and this is, I guess, the worst version of it, it can cause them to be angry or, have a sense of resentment towards you for having an expectation. And I've seen that in my life. I've seen it in my life where people take on roles and then they don't realize what expectations are going to be had of them within the role they're in. And I feel that happens so much in our society where people want certain roles, they want to do certain things, but they're not ready for the expectations that are going to come along with it. And I'm talking to myself on that. Like for example, if you want to be a writer, guess what? You're gonna be expected to write. That's just how it's gonna be. And I used to lament. I'd be like, oh, woe is me. I have to sit down for hours and press buttons. Yes, yes, of course. Otherwise, nothing is going to get done. You won't write anything, and it's just hilarious. It's like it's comical to me to see just how we ebb and flow in that energy as well. Expectation and roles, and the roles we play and what we expect of others in the roles we play as well. Thank you, friends. Do share with me your insights as well. What role have you been playing? At least in your immediate friend groups, family groups, even if your life. Like think about like owning a pet, for example. Let's like kind of around this thing off. Like if you have a pet, if you want to be a pet owner, one of the expectations that this little animal is going to have of you is for you to feed it. And it is not an unreasonable expectation, I don't think, because that's the role you've taken. I've taken the role as pet owner. I have to take care of my pet. I've taken the role as gardener. I have to water my plants. I've taken the role as fireman. I have to fight fires. And it's so beautiful me. It's beautiful to me that we do this, like first and foremost, and it's beautiful to me how we see these different roles in the world as well. Some roles, for some reason, we value more than others. But the person that walks dogs is just as valuable as the person that fights fires. Because if the person that fights fires weren't there to fight that fire, the fire wouldn't get fought. And if the person that walks the dogs weren't there to walk the dogs, those dogs wouldn't get walked. So every single one of us are necessary to this whole. And we are going to have expectations of one another. But if we're going to be talking to one another, if we're going to be loving with one another in a space where the only expectation we have of one another is our presence, we shouldn't have any more expectations than just that. Because it's gonna cause us to feel separate from one another. Because we're not. We're not these limited, like that's not exactly the word I'm looking for. Lacking. We're not lacking beings. So why are we expecting so much of one another if all we need is presence? Hmm? I hope this feeling that I've been having lands with you friends as well. Thank you, truly. You in this space you hold is a beautiful thing, and seeing that you are genuinely changing lives, including my own, helping us all grow, love, and be together. I'm happy to give anything I can for the cause of love. It's an honor. Isaac, it's an honor to have you, friend. It's an honor to have you here in this space with us. It's an honor to have you believe in what it is we're believing. It's an honor to know that I'm not the only one. I'm getting emotional. No, I don't want to cry right now. I don't want to cry. Suck it back in. It's a genuine honor, dude, and you will never be able to unsay what you've said, friend. And the things you say are so beautiful. Not only your actual words, but the intentions behind them as well. Those things resonate so beautifully, and I thank you, like from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you so much, friend. Whew, okay. Crying. Calm down. Ninja Peach. She says, "Morning, beautiful souls. We can never change how people act. We can only change how we react." Love the message this morning. Love you so much, Ninja Peach. Thank you. How we react. You know what's funny to me, Ninja? At least I've noticed this in my own life. So when I get into arguably a tense position, be it of a family member or, someone in the outside world, a stranger. instead of getting more and more worked up, I become extremely calm. Not only calm, but I also become monotone. So, no, 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 no. And I'll just speak in this tone of voice. And I won't raise my voice. I won't inflectuate. I'll be very mindful of what it is I'm saying. And like the opposite of reacting to someone's actions can like piss them off as well. You not being angry, you not being overreactive, you not being as abrasive as they are, can be seen as something that is now wrong as well. And again, it is just something inside of them seeing that and then being like, wait a second, I could be doing that, but I'm not doing that. And because I'm doing this, I'm going to do this even harder because that has to be the opposite of what it is I'm doing. So it has to be wrong, has to be separate, has to be something that I have to attack. Expectation, and that's the thing. Literally, ninja, we can literally be abrasive with one another and then expect the other person to be abrasive back, to lament, to be angry, to be hurt, whatever. We have these expectations as well, and it's hilarious. Like, I'm like thinking about all of I'm gonna call them friends, the friends that come in and share arguably spicy information with me. There might be this expectation, like, yeah, this is gonna devastate him. And then I get there and I'm like, oh, okay. I'll sit with it, I'll feel into it. Not exactly true. Thank you for contributing though. And those friends either change, either get more angry and lament even more, or they leave. And it's just what we expect. What we expect is what we're gonna find as well, inevitably. It's unfair to judge people for not meeting our preconceived expectation of them. It's also boring. Open yourself to experiencing people in all of their flaws and beauty. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Golden Trunks, I couldn't agree more. Seeing people as these fractals. Fractals that have been influenced by not only their upbringing, not only their environment, not only, who they went to school with, the teachers they had, the food they ate, the water they drank, the air they breathed. There's so much influencing you right now, an infinite amount of stuff, like my job, studies, family, friends, my personal life, my personal understanding of what I enjoy doing, all of these things melting together to become you right now. And that continues to happen. And as it continues to happen, that little fractal that goes on inside of you, sometimes has to move into one direction or another because some parts of it is going to be cut off or stopped. But we never stop growing. We never just like, okay, guess I'm, well, like, oh, I want to be, uh, let's say, a fireman. I want to be a fireman. And I go to the fire station. Fire station? Is it a fire station? I don't know. Is it a fire station? Firefighting station. I think that's what you call it. Anyway, go to this firefighting station and they, do an evaluation and they see I can't properly pick up, a 20 kilogram oxygen bottle. And they're like, bruh, like, we appreciate you wanting to do this, but we don't think it's gonna be a fit for you. Instead of just being like, oh, I guess I'm not gonna do anything now, straight up dropping dead on the spot after this person tells you you can't do this thing, we adjust, we change. Yeah, surely, this possibility of us being a firefighter in this scenario has been cut off, but just because it's been cut off doesn't mean it's the end of something. It means it's the start of something new, the start of a new pattern we can grow into. And the fact that that is the way that it is about human beings, just imagine how many things have happened to each and every single one of us as individuals to be what and who we are in this time and in this moment. So by kind of like taking that into consideration, looking at another person as an infinitely complex being that have had an infinite amount of experience and are acting or is acting the way that they are because of these experiences they've had, It allows us a lot more insight, and it causes us to expect less, to assume less. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And we assume a lot. A lot. So much. Man, we assume. We love it. We love assuming because, again, it's pattern recognition. Our brain rewards us for assuming correctly. But we don't realize that we can really hurt relationships, even end them, by assuming things about other people as well. Because we don't know. We don't know what's going on inside someone's life. We don't know what has been going on for their entire existence. We don't know what's going on sometimes even with ourselves. Like think about I was having a conversation with Javan last night, and we got into this topic of our individual cells, and the processes happening in our bodies right now to keep us alive. I'm breathing, but as I'm breathing, and I'm like, yes, air in, air out. But technically, there are these, internal pathways, like 1,400 miles of internal pathways that gets filled with air, and there's like a single cellular mucous membrane wall almost, and those like membrane walls are attached to like these little capillaries, and then there's like red blood cells running across that, and as those red blood cells come in contact with this single cell wall, oxygen molecules can get lodged in those little red blood cells, and then those red blood cells take that stuff all over my body, and then that oxygen gets taken up by individual little cells and turned into energy just to keep you here, present, right now. There is an infinite amount of stuff happening. And then we're like, you person, be be like this. When we don't even know what we are, how we are, why we are right now. Expect less, love more. Thank you, friends, for being here, for loving me, for loving yourself right now. I appreciate you so much. Mojo joining us again, saying greetings. I definitely have expectations on my relationship, and it relates directly to freedom. Maybe it's okay to want someone to be different if that means freedom for them. I would call that a form of love. It's tough because we love that freedom. Mojo, I would love to hear more. I see you did actually send another message. She says, I'm not sure how to have no expectations when a union of friendship expects both people. I think it's important to agree on what expectations we'll have on each other. And I agree completely with that, Mojo. Kind of relating back to the roles we play. If another person is willing to play the role of your friend, then I believe you are worthy of expecting them to act like a friend. And if they're not willing to fulfill the role that a friend would fulfill, instead of expecting them to do something differently, realize that you shouldn't expect anything of them at all. At all. And that you might need to move on from that relationship because they're not willing to, one, meet basic requirements for being a friend, presence, care, I guess, love, a feeling of acceptance. So I don't think and I agree with what you're saying, what expectations we'll have. I think that might be a very healthy thing to do in our relationships as well. If we get into a relationship, to tell each other what roles we're playing right now. Let's say it's a romantic relationship. I play the role of, boyfriend, husband, whatever. You play the role of girlfriend, wife, whatever. And then within these roles, what do you expect me to do? What do you expect of me? And then by kind of like bringing these things out into the open, we can let each other know how we feel about these things as well. But but if that person is unwilling to play their own role, play the role of your friend, play the role of your girlfriend, then you shouldn't expect anything of them, and you should seek something else. Let them live without expectation, and then technically you will allow yourself to be free in that situation. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective, Mojo. Like, I would love to hear more about this expectation in a relationship that you have as well when it relates to freedom. Like, I'm genuinely curious. I would love more context. Greetings to you, brother Ryan. To you friends who don't know, I will, pretty much say it every single day if I see Ryan's name. Thank you for reminding me again, Ryan. we are doing yoga sessions, me and brother Ryan. They're like a little bit early, but they are recorded, I believe, from 5:30 a.m. Basically 30 minutes before I start officially streaming. And me and him have been doing these yoga sessions together. Expect the unexpected. Melita, dude, to death. Like I've literally today was one of those, to expect the unexpected. But I wasn't expecting the unexpected, so the unexpected came very unexpectedly. So sorry, got a little bit off track. The yoga, and it's been such a beautiful practice because the way that this yoga that Ryan is teaching, where a lot of yoga practices can be kind of varied and you are doing different things to exercise different muscles and to kind of keep it interesting, if you consider differences in meditations or yoga positions interesting. But the way that Ryan explained today, that instead of kind of, keep doing something new over and over again, we're doing the same routine so that our body, our mind, and our heart can become used to that set of movement. And then instead of having to consciously think about what it is we're doing, how it is we're moving, we can just breathe into the movement, breathe into the feeling, breathe into that moment. And by practicing that set of exercises over and over again, the grooves almost that is like being carved in our neuronal pathways of the endorphins and stuff that can get released starts to deepen, and we start to really kind of like live into this fractal of movement. And it's been beautiful. Like today was the second day, and I already feel like I've doubled in experience since yesterday. I'm so grateful that Ryan is providing this opportunity. If you would like to see it as well, or like to join us, it is on the Meltmore Discord. In the streams come through like little tab, Ryan will be posting links. We would love to see you friends there. If you could go back in time to meet someone, who would it be? One someone? Ooh, that's a difficult one, friend. Oh man, that kills me. Because it's between Terence McKenna, Alan Watts. Like I want to say Ram Dass. Like he was kind of recent. I would like to meet him before he had a stroke, but I don't know if that's a mean thing to say. Um, like Einstein, I would like to have a conversation with, but I don't know if we would have good conversations. So probably Terence McKenna. If an alien had to be like, oh wait, dude, decide right now. You're gonna go back in time and meet someone. Like it would probably be Terence McKenna. On top of the fact that me showing up with aliens would absolutely melt Terence McKenna's mind, which I would also appreciate seeing. It's like, sup, Terrence? What's up, bitch? And he's like, who the fuck are you, dude? I'm like, I'm from the future. Got my alien homies with me. And I'm just like, Terrence again. I was like, yeah, come, I brought joints. We can sit and we can smoke. How do you feel about this? And I probably devastate him, bringing him future weed. Suddenly Terence McKenna is just, melting into the floor. Thank you for that question, SMDAZ. I appreciate it. Melt the firekeeper wife. Isaac, so much love to you, friend. Mojo, what to expect? Lovely day there, brother babe. It is. It is a beautiful day. The clouds are really nice, but it's hot. It's hot as of late. Like unfortunately, when it's hot, the mosquitoes are rampant, and the mosquitoes kind of have access to my legs because I do not have awareness. I mean, I have awareness of our legs, but I don't have as much awareness of my legs as I have of my arms. So they're like sucking on my legs, without my knowledge. And then as I'm sleeping, my body is like, yes, itch. And then I'll scratch myself to the point where, I have wounds. And then I'm sitting here sweating, and then the sweat is burning my wounds. So many steps to be uncomfortable right now. Hi, what do you do like for a living? This is what I do, JRN. This is actually what I do for a living, friend. I mean, I dance as well. Sometimes I share perspectives. Sometimes I meditate with you friends. Sometimes I share little kalimba vibes. I, I want to do so much more of it, but I only have that much mental capacity sometimes, to get things done. But this is what I do, friend. You friends have been the ones who have literally realized my dreams. And Melita was like, today was like, yeah, Mel's dreams are being realized, but it's not happening fast enough. So she like really kicked me in the teeth all my ass with like sheer gratitude. Thank you for asking, JR, and thank you for your support, friends. Jovan is joining us saying, I had a conversation about how judging and stewing over unmet expectations in others causes more pain for the judger than the judged. Living in that upset mindset isn't enjoyable. What a beautiful point that is, Jovan. And thank you so much for bringing that insight with us today. So, in context of the things we were talking about today, these expectations we can have of one another, and how that expectation, even though it could be unexpressed, can cause tension within our conversational relationship partner. The other side of it, if you hold on to that expectations, and I was feeling myself going through a trip like this as well, if you hold on to those expectations and you keep reminding yourself, keep like running it over and over in your mind of, this person should be doing this person should not be doing that, na 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 na, it's you that's suffering. It's not the other person. You're the one that is suffering by judging another person, by feeling like they're the ones that are wrong. You're the one that is technically wrong. And it's ironic because we do that. But as soon as you realize you're doing it, it's pretty easy to stop. At least if it's not something that affects you on a personal slash life quality level. It is something that you can easily stop doing. You're like, why exactly am I thinking these things? Oh, okay, this reason. Do you think that's a valid reason? Hmm. Maybe not. Thank you so much, Chauvin. Thank you so much, my friend. So freaking wise you friends are. Frankie Marie, thank you for joining us as well, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. I honor you and I see you. Curious your thoughts on this. How do we handle the feeling of being affected by empathetic? Whoa, whoa, whoa. The feeling of being affected by being empathetic to another person, such if they might be going through something. We want to help, but if they are stuck, feeling bad, it can be hard to not carry it too. I'm not exactly sure what the rest of your message was supposed to say, Isaac. I'm sorry, friend. So the question he asks is basically, what do we do if the feeling of empathy for one another starts hurting us? Because we might not be able to help the person as much as we want to. And the contrary side of that, we might think that even if we help, our help will, one, not be appreciated, two, not be received well. So I guess that could be the same thing as not being appreciated. And then the third one is that even after helping, that person is going to continue doing what it is they're doing, continue creating more situations for them to be in the position they were in and you wanted to help them out of. And it's difficult, dude. You're asking me a really good question, Isaac. And I've been thinking about that as well. I've been trying to deal with that. I want to, like, unfortunately, I'm insane in the way where I think I might be a little bit stupid. Like, I would, give everything away if it wasn't for my brain being like, "What are you doing, dude? The fuck are you doing, oh?" Like the thing I know I am is something that is infinite, and I feel we all intrinsically realize, at least some part of us knows that as well. So, referencing that part of myself, giving things away doesn't hurt that part, because oh no, I don't have X amount of daras anymore. Oh no, I don't have this physical object anymore. When in fact that X amount of daras is now in someone else's bank account, which is still you. That object is in their hands, which is still your hands. And that understanding, that empathetic understanding of another person could be damaging. It could be damaging, Isaac. Because at what point do we draw the line? Where do we, again, implement the self love? I'm trying to learn that lesson at the moment, Isaac, actually. Whew. because it feels like the way we rationalize around that topic is in a level of judgment as well, which makes us feel separate, which makes us not want to do it, which just gives us a justified reason not to do it, and then we feel into it being empathetic again. If I figured it out, Isaac, you'll be the first to know, Fred. I promise. Salty Malalti is joining us, saying, "I just know my day is going to be good when I see Meltmore on stream." Well, I freaking salty. How could my day not be better after you say something like that, man? Thank you so much. Eternally grateful for your love. Jovan says, lol, dropping dead for being in the night job. These images I get from your exaggerated situations. I'm so happy. Like, it makes me so, so happy, Jovan. Sometimes I have the most absurd thoughts, like so absurd that I'm like, dude, like you'll get freaking put in a loony bin if you vocalize the things you're thinking. And then I sometimes vocalize the things I'm thinking, and instead of being like, yeah, this dude is fucking crazy, you actually enjoy it. I would love to make skits like that, like being able to realize some of the things I think about. Eventually, we will. I'm trying to think about something I thought recently. I was like, I remember the situation. I was like pulling on a drawer, looking for something, and then I was having this weird thought. No, it's escaping me. I'll put it down. You can see it. I can see myself thinking it, but I can't see what it is I'm thinking. So I'll be like, okay, fine. You keep your secrets, past Mel. You keep your secrets. Shifting from spouse to parents and spouse. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Shifting from spouse to parent. And spouse has challenged the roles in my life. Navigating, balancing both roles has been so insightful. I can see why it can ruin relationships. Communication and abundance of love has saved me slash us through this shift. Man, it makes me happy to hear that, Ninja Peach. It makes me happy to hear it from this perspective of you have noticed these roles affecting your life. You have noticed how it could be to detriment of your life. And instead of, allowing that to happen, you two being willing to love one another, being willing to communicate about these things, and being living rather from this place of an abundance of love has literally saved the relationship, have saved the things you could expect of one another. And it's so beautiful to me that you say that, because one of the biggest concerns I have with being in a relationship myself is expectation, because I feel I'm still not ready, and I don't believe I am, because I still have expectations for what I want in a relationship. And I think for as long as I do, I probably won't be ready for it just yet. So the fact that on top of it, on top of these expectations, there can be a genuine communication and an abundance of love being shared with one another, and almost a resolution of that feeling gives me hope. Thank you so much, Ninja Peach, for giving me hope, friend. Isaac says, so proud and happy to hear that you're navigating this so well. It's a challenge that I'm looking forward to one day. Be looking forward to one day. Happy to hear your thoughts and advice on the topic. Me too, Isaac. I like it genuinely gives me hope. Okay, well, just giving me more context. She says more context in my comment. In a nutshell, thinking in a life partner sense to become one type of thinking. In effect, I affect them and they affect me. Therefore, an expectation on each other of freedom. Honestly, communication, etc., are a necessary work, and we how to better take care of ourselves and other thoughts, those expectations through those expectations and others through those expectations. So, Mojo, like my eye is itching. Sorry, I'm I'm making an assumption, and I don't like doing that. But with the amount of information you've given me, I feel like maybe I have enough information to make this assumption. In this context that you're talking about right now, in the freedom that you want after having taken a life partner, are you talking about it in the context of like a poly relationship, where even though you and this like partner are now a unity, you were two people that have taken on the role to be in a relationship, one relationship, and then confronted with the fact that making that decision comes with expectations on top of that decision. And then there can be expectations of freedom that would contradict that initial set of expectations that we had. And in communicating, being honest in your words, we can try and resolve, do the necessary work to better that situation. Like that's the information I feel like you're sharing with me. I appreciate you for allowing me to share it with you as well, friend. Like I'm curious. I wanna get to the bottom of this with you. Future weed. It is! Toasty dude, our weed is way too strong, dude. Like Terrence would straight up get wrecked. I'm sure. I'm actually sure. If I could go back in time and Terrence had to smoke the bud that I'm growing, he would just be devastated. Just be like, what the hell, Melt? What have you done to me, dude? Why does my legs no longer work? Don't worry, Terrence. It's just gonna last like 44 minutes, dude. You can walk again after 44 minutes. That's my favorite photos. I think with the right person, it can be the most beautiful shift. With your awareness, you will do fantastic. Thank you so much, Ninja Peach, for sending that love into the universe as well. You translated my message well. Thank you for the advice and thoughts. I struggle a lot with this. I find myself empathetic to a fault. I'll leave the salon after hearing some awful things someone I love is going through, and I just get torn up from the idea of it. I guess is the best way to finish the message. Yeah, me too, Isaac. Like I think the biggest thing that hurts me is I'm a very action oriented person. I think something and then I'm like, hmm, yeah. And then I do it, and that's technically what happened here. I was like, yes, streaming every day. Hmm. And then the next day, I just started doing it. Yeah, so like me and my dad, like two of our cattle died, unfortunately. They ate some weird stuff, and that stuff ended up killing them, which is kind of a yikes. But fortunately, it wasn't a poison. It was some sort of feed, like it's very concentrated and you put like little bits of it in the food, but then you can buy like big bags of it. And because it's feed, the cows was like a sick, unadulterated bag full of this stuff. And then they ate it. Oh, like, and then they, like, I don't want to share the details of how they died, but it killed them, unfortunately. And we didn't, just get rid of the carcasses, if you will. We could at least get some meat out of it. And there was a bunch of bones and stuff that came along with it. And I saw these bones as my dad was like kind of measuring the meat out, making sure that it's all accounted for, if you will. And I was like, "Are those bones?" And he's like, "Yes." And I think to myself, hmm, I should make bone broth. Bone broth apparently is good for you. And after I finished that thought, I took a bag of bones and I made bone broth, without missing a beat. And like that has been something that has served me so much in my life. But because it has served me so much in my life, it also is something that causes me to feel very powerless, very worried, very distraught when I hear someone else I love is in a uncomfortable position, is in pain, is not happy. Because the first and foremost thing that I want to do is help, and I would do anything to help. I would, do things for you if it means you being happier, whatever. But that's not necessarily how it works sometimes. It's not what we can expect of ourselves, and it can be very, I want to say, abrasive to ourselves, especially being masculine entities. And I'm like, this is not just something that men do, but it's definitely a reason that men and women fight as much as we do. Because sometimes, our divine feminine partner will share with us from a perspective of wanting to share things with us. And from the masculine perspective, her sharing this information is a ask, and then that ask is fix this problem, or say something that's gonna make this thing better, when in fact all they expect of you is just to listen. And if we can realize that as men, I feel our relationships would be a lot healthier. Don't forget about Tesla. Did I miss something? Yoga, a union of mind, body, and soul. Don't forget about Tesla. I'm missing you a little bit, Melita. Please do, give me some context again. I would love to answer that message. Good morning, Dan. Thank you for joining us, my man. It's so nice to have you here. How are you doing? How's your significant other, my friend? So much love to you. Translate my message well. Take that feeling, feel them, and send them back into the universe. They are not yours to claim and carry. It's okay to feel them, but when you have to let it go, send it back. Same goes for negativity. Sit with it and send it back out there. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective, Ninja. There was a question about people you'd like to meet. Oh, of course. Yeah, but like one. Like Nikola Tesla is definitely on the list. I don't know if I'd be able to understand him. I think he was I think he was Italian. Was he Italian? Maybe I'd be able to understand him. But definitely. I would love to I would like one of the biggest things that I would like, one of my wants is a time travel machine. Yes, of course. What do you want, Melt? I want the time travel machine, Daddy. Fucking asshole. I can't freaking buy you a time travel machine. Yeah, I just want one time travel machine. Is that too much to ask? Humanity, please, please, can I have a time travel machine? I want to see the dinosaurs. Hopefully I can just like be in a sphere in the air, looking down on them, because I would not want to climb into a machine and then just get teleported there. That would be a bit of a yikes. Just find myself in the middle of the dinosaurs. Hey, you silly thing! Stop biting me. Thank you. Thank you. Freaking sweet thing. He actually originally not from there. But, oh, really? He's from Croatia? What a trip. Definitely not Italian, though. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. There was a question about people he made. Tesla was Serbian. There we go. Thank you so much for now. I know, actually. Serbian. Serbian. I want to remember that so I can know. Definitely not Italian though. Thank you again, Melita. Thank you, friends. You see, now instead of just having my limited perspective, now I have double perspective, triple perspective. Controversy time. You want to share some controversy? I'm down. I'm down. Like throw Melita. I'm here to catch. Great words. I remember that next time I'm feeling that. I do feel like we're all connected, and I work on letting go. It sounds silly, but I feel like my subconscious thinks if I can just carry a bit for them, it will make it easier. Yeah, dude. That's I I believe it's the masculine side of us, that wants to get things done. It wants to get to a point, where the feminine energy within us is a dancer, wants to continue moving. The feminine doesn't dance in order to get the dance done. The feminine dances to dance. Where the masculine can kind of have this longing for a point, Na 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 na, where feminine can be na 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 na. And it's because of this difference in understanding and in perspective that we have such a hard time connecting with one another sometimes. Sweet thing. Hey, yes, Carmelia. I was talking about you yesterday, actually. Thank you for joining me, friend. It's nice to have you here. I've been going through it lately. Oh, Scarmelia, it seems a lot of us are really freaking going through it right now. It's just like, oh yes, more bullshit. Good. Oh, more bullshit. Okay. Oh, more. Again, nice. Oh, look at this. Even more bullshit. What have you been going through, Scarmelia? Share with us, a burden shared is a burden halved. We'll carry with you, friend. He was born in Croatia. Thank you for letting me know, Melita. I mean, you get to like take some credit there. I believe that's how it works, right? Yes, Nikola Tesla's from Croatia. Pretty much means all Croatians are mega geniuses. And unironically, Melita is a mega genius. She's like a mathematician from of all of the things, you know. And I was so surprised the first time I heard it because Melita is such a spiritual and I feel connected being when it comes to whatever the other side is. And then upon her telling me that she works with math, in her day job, I was like, oh, excuse me. Like I was like, of course, as well. At the same time, so beautiful, so beautiful. Hey, relax, relax. You're already heating me up just by being here. It shouldn't be spicy on top of that, you little silly thing. Isaac, that is super tough to take on that energy. Maybe some sort of activity or clearing ritual after work, if is all I can think of. A high heart rate activity to clear any stress hormones might help. That's a very good like advice actually. On point. Do some yoga, dude. You know, if you feel like you want to lessen the burden that someone is carrying, add more of a burden on yourself, at least temporarily, and then realize that can be difficult to carry your own burden and realize that the other person has to do the same. Be there for them, but you can't do everything for them. Mush and mush? What are you doing? You being strange? Just hot? Yeah, it is pretty hot. I'm sorry. Mm, that's a great idea. Having it's tough since having a take having to take a ton of time away from the salon. When I do work, I work so late, usually a late night smoke sesh, but sometimes that does the opposite. Maybe I'll go for a run instead. Like dance a little bit, actually, Isaac, is what I do. Like unironically, I dance. And I feel sometimes comical doing it. I'm like, oh nice, dude. You want to help this person and now you're jumping up and down for some reason. And I convince myself that I am helping. I'm like, yes, I'm sending you good vibrations, dude. I hope you're feeling them. Freaking sweet thing. So sorry you're dealing with something, friend. I hope you'll find some peace today. You are loved here. Let me know if I can help. Thank you so much, Isaac. Like, this is the first time you're meeting Scarmelia. But Scarmelia has been tuning into the streams for a while now. She's been streaming herself, even. She makes these beautiful jellyfish plushies. And I actually can buy one now, Scarmelia. I actually have money to be able to support friends. So, like, if you're still making them, let me know. So sorry you're dealing with that. Welcome to Cow Death Chat, everyone. I'm sorry, JM. Sometimes, like everything is a part of infinity, and I don't know. I probably didn't need to give you context, but I like context. If someone communicates with me and they don't give me any context about what they're communicating about, it creates a very real sense of tension inside of me because my mind will literally think of an infinite amount of possibilities until it collapses into the possibility that it is. And if you're communicating with me, leaving things vague enough for me to like melt constantly over, then I just have a hard time. So it has educated me to communicate very clearly, let's say. I hope so, at least. Tesla spoke 8 languages. Wow. I mean, I hope English is one of them. And in that case, I would definitely want to talk to Tesla as well. Man, I would love to talk to so many dudes. I don't know if Marcus Aurelius would be able to speak English, but if we have time travel, we probably have, AI as well that can in real time translate. Thank you for the energy. You're okay, because I appreciate that, friend. English, Italian, Czech, French, Latin, Serbo Croatian, German, Latin, that's German again. and Hungarian. Wait, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Nine languages. Nine languages. That's, imagine, Toasty. Like, I can speak two puppy, okay? Puppy! 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 Genoeg! Puppy! Puppy! Relax. Relax, puppy. Relax. There's nothing there. She's barking at nothing. Puppy! Puppy! Stop it! Just suddenly, like she's barking at something there, and then she runs past me, and then she barks at something there. Like that's not how barking is supposed to work. By the way, you're supposed to bark at things, not just bark for the sake of barking. Tesla loved the numbers 369. Tesla would say that if you understand the significance of the numbers 369, you will understand the rest of the universe, or something like that as well. And if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla was on a level, dude. Levels upon levels. I would love to be able to download some of his consciousness. What a mind. Oh yeah. Dude, I wanted to like say that before Pippi rudely interrupted me. I can speak two languages. And it's weird sometimes switching between languages. Imagine holding nine different languages, nine different references, different words, different inflections to the exact same thing. And what that does to the infinity of your mind, and how it interprets information. But by carrying it, you're amplifying sadness instead of love and happiness. I am an empath, and I totally get it. We can't carry that energy for someone else. Or we shouldn't. Because that person is already carrying it, and it's a whole person. A whole person is necessary to carry that amount of energy. And by trying as a whole person, dealing with everything you're dealing with, to carry what they're giving or what they're putting out as well. Pepe! Pepe, stop it! What's the problem, Anna? I think she's very like, I think she might be either stupid or she like has bad eyes or something. She's so silly. So freaking silly. She's barking at like Anna. Like a person, but the person isn't there. Pepe! Stop it! Pepe! It's not stopping. I'm sorry, friends. I speak more unspoken languages than spoken languages. I think we all do, right? Mariah, thank you for joining me, friend. Body language. Like, I think something like between 80 and 95% of our communication is body language, first and foremost. Reddit is your time travel machine. I mean, the internet can be seen as a time travel machine in that way. Maybe the amount of information we can experience is going to improve. Like, this is really pissing me off a little bit because she's not. I mean, it's an expectation I have, right? Okay, that's much better. One more context. I married, and I wasn't until after marriage did the shadow from the past come up. PTSD, for example. So, if we have agreed on freedom for ourselves individually and together, it was necessary for us to hold that expectation to focus on healing. I married, and it wasn't until after marriage that the shadows from the past come up. Thank you so much for giving me more context, Mojo. Hmm. It's interesting that you say that as well, because today, I was thinking about baggage and about how baggage are these things that has happened to us in our lives, and how they keep affecting us in these moments. And I guess PTSD, or the, in your words, shadows, could be seen as these baggages as well. But unfortunately, these things can be so sensitive and so difficult for us that instead of being open and sharing these things with our significant others right off the bat, we'll keep them from each other until we feel there is a level of trust, a level of certainty that we are allowed to experience these shadow sides, to show these shadow sides. And the fact that instead of, splitting up and not being with one another, you could actually work through these things, it's genuinely inspiring. Thank you, Mojo, for giving me this insight. You're so right. I will keep your words in mind. Thank you, friend. Perspective enhanced. Perspective enhancing chats. Like we do. I think this space rather is not shy to take psychedelics. And psychedelics, one word for them can be perspective enhancing drugs. In this space, we don't even need drugs. We just have perspective enhancing chats. And it's so beautiful to me. Thank you, Isaac, for having your perspective enhanced, friend. Expectations don't always have to bring frustration, but can allow vision of a roadmap. Where we want to be, or of where we want to be. A roadmap. Like, I feel as soon as you're in a married, relationship with someone, the context of that, oh goodness. I I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I was thinking about that today, showering. I was imagining, myself dancing. And then as I was dancing, I imagined a significant other bringing me water, making sure I stay hydrated, and me being able to give the significant other a hug and, just be loving towards. And that was like the most of it. Like, that's basically the context in which I experienced that thought. Being able to grow together, being able to support one another. Thank you. Thank you, Mojo, so much, my friend. Morning, Jovan. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's always nice to have you here. Toast and Jovan saying hi. Handsome. Thank you, Omen. I'm sure you're handsome as well, friend. So much insight today. I'm gaining eyes on the inside of my head. I mean, you've always had them. You've always had them. Technically, there's an infinite amount of eyes inside of your brain already. Expectations. Like the word judgment can carry a bad connotation. Like we shouldn't have or do it. I can't see how we can live without judging or expecting. There are definitely negative ways of doing those, however. Mojo, I hear what you're saying, friend. Like I'm on the same boat when you're talking about expectation. And now that I'm trying to imagine myself in the boat of judging, I can find myself in that same boat as well. But it does, without doubt, affect the relationship. Even though it might be a part of the relationship, we need to realize that it is going to affect the relationship. And depending on how it's going to affect the relationship, we have to weigh with inside of ourselves how important this thing is that we're going to affect this relationship with. This judgment, this expectation. How valuable is this expectation to us? How certain are we that we are in a position to be judging? And then by referencing those questions, I feel we can make an educated decision. So, I want this person to be doing this. If this person does this, am I going to be happier? Am I going to love them more? Am I going to this? Am I going to that? And then, if you can, in your own mind, rationalize why you would want this person to be doing something differently, then bring it up. If you have gone through this mindset and you found that it wouldn't be that important to you, but it will, without doubt, cause some sort of turmoil in the person that you're addressing, then don't. So I think we're not necessarily suggesting that we shouldn't be expecting things of one another. I think we should be aware of our expectations and where those expectations come from. And we should also be aware that within these expectations, certain things aren't going to be the way we think they're going to be. In the context of, oh, if only this person did things this way, said things this way, what, yada, 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 then this, and that. But at the end of the day, we don't need a stimulus to elicit a loving response. Love pours from us unequivocally, unconditionally, always. And as soon as we attach expectations onto that love, it can be more difficult, more difficult. It can be just difficult. It is difficult to share that love if it's unconditional when the other person has a condition. That's I think the point we're trying to make, Mojo. Hey Pineapple Cubed and Sorvinia. Did Gem just stop streaming? Like I see Pineapple Cubed, Sorvinia, and Aunt B tune in like pretty much back to back. So I feel like they had to come from Gem's stream just now. Thank you so much for joining me here, friends. If Gem is streaming on the other side, do send her my love. I went to way high. I went to Haywire here looking for him. On Wednesdays, I try to stream on RPAN because it's like the OG of RPAN. And, in honoring RPAN, we stream on RPAN. Meowdy, long time no see. Thief! How dare they, Servidia? How dare they steal your Meowdy? Okay, bye everyone. My phone is on 14%. Goodbye, Pineapple Cube. We'll see you again next time, friend. I hope your phone gets charged. But it's RPAN Day. It's RPAN Day. It is. You're right. Thank you, Unbi, for letting our friend know. You too, Toasty. Someone just gotta bark at a tree. Sometimes you just gotta bark at a tree. Like now she's laying there. No, 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 no. I'm not suggesting you start barking at things. No, I wasn't suggesting that. I wanted to. No, I wasn't. I wasn't. She's like, what? You want me to bark at things? No. No, where are you? We can say anything. Melt warging into Peppy. Warging? That was intense. Maybe the puppy was as can send spirits. I wouldn't be surprised, competitive car. I wouldn't be surprised. But it isn't something we should encourage. A dog that barks at nothing is going to be a little bit of new nuisance. She might be seeing spirits right now. Are you seeing spirits? Is that a yes? I I don't know if you're talking to me or if you're just shenanigansing. Are you talking to me? I saw like a little bit of a. Hashimashmash. Komisyo yay. Komisyo na maitu. Komisyo. Nah, she's trained. Whatever she's now thinking about barking again, it's there again. Like again, like yesterday. It's the thing that's concerning is the fact that she's looking at something. Like a cat suddenly just like spazzing out and looking at something in the room. We were like, what? What is in this room with me? The fact that she's looking at something and barking at something that I'm unable to see, is disconcerting. That was intense. I see that. I love your thoughts. I find with my fiance, trusting and constant communication has allowed her to understand my past troubles and habits. Now she can help me grow through them and help me let go. It's my favorite thing. Isaac, it's like a it's like a deep breath to read those words, my friend. Thank you so much. It's okay until Pippi starts saying Hodor. Like again, I don't have a problem with barking dogs. Our dogs will bark if there is, someone, a car coming along, or like if the foxes, how they'll bark a little bit. But if they're just barking at nothing over and over and over again, then it can just create a sense of tension inside of us, and I never want to feel any tension towards her. Oh, look who it is, Gavity Goo, and Women in a Van, straight up blasting us with love. Thank you so much. Mammy sends so much love to you, Mel. Thank you, Aunt B. Think I've already, yeah, I have. Fortunately, me and Mammy got to have a beautiful exchange today as well. Gem stream ended, so we are covertly rated. There we go. Thank you, Sir Video. So much love to you, friends. Gowdy Goo, what a nice surprise to have you here today. I actually saw your name. I went to the moderator list on Haywire Hill, and I saw Gobs, and I think it was like Pinto or something. Pinto or Nubs? I don't know exactly. You would know. And I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what that means. Thought about you, was sending you some love. Thank you for being here with us. Gob, it's so nice to have you. She's got an intention with that bark. She might, but now I'm the one that's worried. Now I'm feeling bad for suggesting that she shouldn't. And she's angry at me for suggesting that she shouldn't. Huh? Are you angry at me? You angry? Huh? I don't know. Kind of looks like it. You angry at me? Huh? Als je mans? Kom hier zo. Kom hier zo, jij. Kom hier. Kom hier zo. She's looking away when I'm like, come here. She's angry at me for some reason. Guess I shouldn't have suggested. Pinto or bust! There we go. Pinto or bust. Please do educate me. I need to know more. Don't mind me. Just spamming some love. I'm just imagining, that is it Rocky? No. Rambo. That Rambo scene where he has the semi-automatic gun. Or I guess that's a light machine. Yeah, a light machine gun, right? For some reason, they call them light machine guns when they're like 100 kilogram guns, like 200-pound guns. But yeah, Gem is just like blast and love. Thank you so much, Gem. I appreciate you to bits. Thank you for the one up as well. Thank you for the power you're sending me. I could not, even if I wanted to, take any more. Getting blasted. We see more unspoken. Oh, we have a little bot saying hi to us. That's so good. That level of relationship takes a whole other level of work that we haven't learned yet. Hard work brings high reward. However, I better a better of both parties. Good luck and life with your union. Thank you so much, Mojo. We hope the same thing for you, my friend. These things, if anything, him being able to achieve that level of relationship, as you say, should be, if anything, an indication that one, that level of relationship can be had, and two, you can have it as well. Please do, Mojo. You are so loved, my friend. All we want for you is happiness. Ninja Peach says it's weird that I can't think of a single expectation in my relationship. The thing that I guess one should expect just happen without being defined. You know what I think that is, Ninja Peach? I feel it's because you and Ninja Nanner are willing to play your roles very well. Like, in my opinion, you friends, being in this space, knowing what this space is about, you play your role in this space so beautifully, sharing such divine wisdom, such beautiful insight in the topics that we're covering. And because of that role that you're playing, you are contributing to this loving space and you are educating us on this loving space. And I appreciate that so much. And I can see it in your behavior. I can see it in, Ninja Nanner's behavior as well. I can see it in the photos that you take of little Marley. There is so much love and so much respect for one another in your family that instead of needing to expect things of one another, you play your role so well that in your words, things happen without being defined. And it's so beautiful. It's such an inspiration. Thank you so much just for being who you are and for allowing me to witness that. Thank you so much, Ninja Peach. Literally got 6,000 coins from the last stream, of course. Just, Gem streams once, gets more rewards than we get in like a month. So happy for you, Jam. It's so amazing to see, the amount of love that gets shared in that space. Literally, as you show up with this intention of honoring the people that watch, because that's what you're doing, Jem. That's why you're successful. It's not because you're world class artist that the whole world needs to stop and drop their shit and watch. No, it's because you are honoring us, and by honoring us, the world honors you, Jem, and we cannot thank you enough for that. Thank you so much for honoring all of us and for drawing our snooze. Like I actually wanted to, let me say wanted to buy the snoo. What do you call those actually, Jem? Snoo page? Snoo? No, not snoo painting. Snoo page? I don't know. The snoo page that Jem was willing to put me on. I was like, I would love to have that as a snapshot of, the space of Reddit, of the people that actually watch these Reddit live streams. And now for the rest of my life, every single time I open that, Snoop page, I'll be able to see these different souls, living their own lives, having their own wants and dreams, the way they treat their animals, the way they, spend time with their loved ones, the foods that they enjoy eating, the entertainment that they appreciate, and all of that information being encapsulated in this little snoo that they've chosen, first and foremost, and secondly, in the intention to actually share or want to be drawn, want to be seen by Jem. There's so much beauty. Jem, thank you eternally for everything you do, my friend. We cannot thank you enough. Lisa, good afternoon, my friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you, sir. Very true. I find it takes a special person to have so much love to give, to be ready to put in that work. I'm incredibly lucky. I know you deserve all the love, friend. Thanks for sharing space. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your love of us as well, my friend. I used to have more expectations based on things I told myself and or was promised by others, but that has changed dramatically and I feel more peace. I'm so happy that you mentioned the second part, you know, was promised because it's more likely for us to have these expectations when we're promised things. And I guess rightfully so, because a promise is supposed to again be a role, an expectation that you set for yourself for the other person. I promise I'm gonna do this, this, and that, and based on that promise, we expect things. But letting go of that, and I'm thinking in context of my mom and my dad. My mom has wanted in Afrikaans, we call it an antrakamer, like one of those bathrooms that has like the closet, like a walk-in closet, and then there's like closets on the side, and then you walk through, and then there's a bathroom. My mom has wanted one of those for years, literally years. Like she's been asking for one for 10 years. And last year, my dad started building on the room, but then our money ran out, and we couldn't complete it just yet. And it's one of the things that my mother is very bothered by, bothered by the fact that my dad promised he would do that, but because of our situation, it isn't realized as fast as she would have hoped for it to be. And I can see it robbing her of her peace on B. It really hurts me to see her robbing herself of that peace by, like, you know, you know. Thank you so much for sharing that wisdom on B. But with that, I do still have expectations that I believe to be minimal and that flow over into self-respect. Very good point that is as well. Because sometimes we expect things, sometimes we don't expect that much, but we expect the bare minimum. And if we're not allowed that bare minimum, it can cause extreme bouts of anger within inside of us. And the other side of it, it causes these bouts of anger because we know we're worthy of these things. Like, for instance, if you're friends with someone and this person, okay, so I want to share two perspectives. I'm going to share what I just started saying, and then I'm going to share what I've been going through. So, with a friend, we could have this expectation that this person replies to us. If I'm going to send you a message and you claim to be a friend of mine, I could expect you to send a message back, right? But, and that would be the minimal level of self respect I have for myself because I respect myself, I respect my time. I took my time, took myself to send you this message. Can't I expect the same thing of you? That being said, I have a friend who doesn't talk to me. I talk to him like every now and then. I think I'm like 6 messages in again, 6 or 7 messages in again of me like telling him I love and miss him and I'm thinking about him. And him just being like, reads it, closes his phone, doesn't reply to the message. And last year I was definitely struggling, definitely battling this feeling inside of me of I expect him to reply to me. At least once a month would be very appreciated, but couldn't even do that. And from that perspective, from that understanding of I need to respect myself and my time, I wanted to cut this relationship off completely. Stop trying. But now, because I don't expect anything of him, I actually don't expect him to reply. I'm not sending him a message of I'm thinking about you and I love you because I expect a reply of him. I'm sending it because I'm thinking of him and I love him. And just that shift in my mind of not having that expectation anymore has changed the relationship I have with him, even though we haven't shared words with this whole shift in my consciousness. So I agree on both sides. On B is what I'm saying. I'm suggesting that there is an infinite amount of perspective in the middle to be found. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share that, my friend. Where does he live? I live in South Africa, Bomberate. Thank you for joining me, friend. Lisa, so much love being shared. Thank you, Jovan. I appreciate you noticing and sharing love with our Lisa friend as well. Sister, how are you? Toasty on B. So much love to you, Lisa. Jem was literally spamming with love a few different times. Good, good. Jem deserves to be spammed with love. Jovan, I watched your micro stream a few different times. Can't wait to see you next time. I'm also looking forward to Jovan streaming a little bit more. Like, Jovan is like, okay, I'm going to stream again. And then Reddit is like, okay, she wants to poo, 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 like kills her stream like 5 times or something, and Giovanna's just like, please, dude, please, Reddit. Could you stop being so rude? And Reddit's like, nah. Nah, I thought about not being rude, but I'm gonna be rude instead. It like kills me, Giovanna, because I'm like, this friend of mine, this beloved, so beloved friend of mine wants to stream, and Reddit is just like giving her a hard time. I appreciate you, Jovan, so much. Thank you. Jem, have you called them snoodles? Snoodoodles? I hope so. Yeah, snoo pages. Okay, thank you, Jem. The snoodles. I think I might call them that now, Jovan. My snoodles page. Freaking snoodles. So cool. You're on a roll, dude. Oh yeah, she is. Freaking Jovan. She's the snoodler. Kira Beer. Kira! Hey, Kira Burb is here joining us. Thank you for joining us, my beloved friend. How are you doing, Kira Burb? How's the family? How's little London? How how are things progressing? I feel you shared some disconcerting information, and I've like been wondering, and I've been keeping space for you, but I didn't want to push, but now I feel I want to push a little bit. Can I push a little bit? Push back if I'm not supposed to be pushing, but please do let us know. I hope things are going well, going back to the basics. And it feels nice and sturdy. Thank you for asking. How freaking good that is to hear. I've been doing yoga as well now on B. It's very hot. It's very, very hot. But it's so good. So, so good. I really enjoy it. It's not the same as I was practicing beforehand. And I feel because of the practices I did beforehand, I'm more equipped to be doing the ones I'm doing right now, which is great. On B, I look forward to spending some virtual time with you. The fam, this fam is something else. It really is. Like to you friends as well. Like I do want to reach out to you friends individually more and more, and I'm going to. Like I want you friends to suggest it as well. If you're like, I want to have a one-on-one with Mel, send me a message. We can make some time and have that one-on-one. I would love to as well. Haywire, he'll stream today. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. The bro of toast. Great point. I appreciate you hearing me melt and for being able to see that in others and yourself. On beat, we're all just these breathing, feeling human beings. Man, we go through a lot sometimes. And I feel from a lot of the context that I have, and very specifically in my own as well, that if we suggest or bring up things that could be painful, it can take us through that whole trip. You know, we can feel those things all over again. And for that reason, I'm not unwilling, unlikely to do that. But if your friends need that, please, not only to me, you have, if you're like going through this chat, pretty much every single person would be willing to help you. Please do reach out. Are you talking about relationships? Pretty much, Minnesota Frozen. We've been talking about relationships today. It's been a good chat. How are you doing, friend? How is your relationships treating you? And or friendships? Yeah, relationships are like your friendships. Friendships are your relationships as well. Absolutely. Explain this, atheists. Explain what? Atlas. Are you talking about me? I mean, like technically, all of us are that friend. You know, an atheist is just someone who maybe doesn't want to believe that, but they cannot escape it. You know, infinity is still influencing them. They just happen to be a part of the infinity that doesn't want to believe in itself. How about it? I love knowing we have the power to release that burden. We do. We actually do. On B. And like thinking about it now, it's almost like I think of it as like, oh, I was being silly. That's how I think of it. Like, oh, you know, I think about the turmoil I experienced and the lamenting and the and I'm like, oh, so silly. Oh, you silly thing. Maybe I'm being a little bit derogatory to myself, but it very much was one of those feelings. I've had so much trouble trying to stream. I wonder if Reddit's mad at me. Freaking Jovan, you point me in the right direction, and I'll have some stern words of Reddit. He like walks into space. Reddit. I'm on my Reddit, mama. Unfortunately, I don't know if they'll listen, even if I try to. So I want to catch a live Jovan. Reddit is so mean for constantly booting you. I don't understand why either. You know, I really don't. Like, there shouldn't be any point or any reason for it. Maybe, maybe I would definitely tune into a Jovan stream if it's on Twitch as well. Ryan is a brilliant teacher. Couldn't say it better myself. Genuinely, and it's something that I had to say to him as well today, is that he's a good teacher. And I was thinking it as I was getting ready and setting my stream up. I'm like, damn, Ryan is a good teacher. Brother Bear, you really are, man. You really, really are. Ooh, and it's weird as well because as we were having this conversation, Ryan was almost alluding to the fact that I'm stuck with him or he is what I've got, and I was like, I have more than enough, so much. Thank you, brother Ryan. It takes me like 5 tries to stream on Haywire Hill. You as well, Toast? Why? Why is Reddit being like this? Is it a karma thing? You have enough karma to stream. So the stream originally works. Is there like a threshold? Yeah, if you hit 10,000 karma, then you get stable streams. Okay. Like the re is like creeping along and then I just put it down. I've been joking with myself and like thinking in the Michael Jackson context like re instead of just being like just re kind of like add a little bit of a spin to it. Sweet Estia, and of course I'll share. I know pushing needed. I'll message you. Nothing much has changed. Expect I'm more in love with London every moment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kira Burp. I'm looking forward to hearing more. How inspiring are you guys? I do anything for a double date. Thank you for being. Ooh, that sounds sick, Isaac. I mean, you have put that into the universe, friend. Who knows? It's just a matter of time now. Is he doing a daily schedule? Yes, he is. He's doing it daily for the next 60 days. Well, the next 58 days, technically. He's done 2 days consecutively now. And it is on the Meltmore Discord in the Streams Come True tab. He posts like a Zoom link. And the schedule right now is 30 minutes before I start streaming. It's like 5:30 a.m. his time. He's a machine. Absolute machine. Oh my goodness, you're no. London is her little cousin or her sister's child that she's taking care of. You're probably the closest to me. If you ever make it to Corowal, I'd love to be able to hang. Thank you so much, Jem, for your excitement and love that you're sharing nonetheless. Such an amazing person. She really is. Absolutely. I agree. Acknowledging that disappointment within myself is necessary for me, and then I can be playful again. Whew, thank you so much, on B, for being always such an open and beautiful channel to the information we try to share here. I can just you doing that is informing me as well. You're teaching me as well. Thank you so much, my friend. I wish ever since I learned Tori Amos moved to Cornwall, I have been obsessed. London is my niece that I have custody of. Thank you so much, Kira Burke, for letting our friend know. Like just love was being shared. Thank you for filling up my love tank also. Also my bravery tank. Thank you, Kira Burke, for being open to receive this love. Oh dear, those are some serious crossed wires. No, don't worry about it, Jeb. But now I really need to be near you for an epic hangout. But it's so funny and fun. Friends, like we've been manifesting Meltfest. Like I was tuning into a Tate stream this morning, and he was like, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a get together where we're all listening to music and dancing? Hoe gaan ek hom vassit? Ek het twee fone. Ek het nog nie die harde ware daarvoor nie. Ek gaan hom betaal. Dis soos ek vra hom nou al lank om my te begin help daarmee, maar dan gaan nou vir hom moet sê ek sal jou soveel rand gee en dan gaan hy dit actually begin doen. I have to coax my brother with money in order to get like a new thing 3D printed because fortunately there's like a shoe mount, so you can technically just like push a button, pop something in. So I'm gonna redesign a whole new 3D holding system so we can actually use the new tripod. I've used it for my dancing stream. I used it to make a YouTube short yesterday, but I want to use it even more. I want to use it in this space as well. I'm serious about wires. Hang on, it's so funny. I can honestly say that I've never come across someone called London before. There's a time and a place for everything, Jam. And this was the time and the place for you to learn that there is someone called London. She's a beautiful little being. Mel, that is awesome. You're awesome, Aunt B. Every single one of us are these unfathomably amazing, awesome beings. And I feel because of our medium of talking, our ability to realize things in physical space, and how much significance we put on our ability to realize things in physical space, and how much significance we put on the words we say, we can be very judgeful of another person if they don't. We expect them to say something, do something in a specific way, and they don't. And then that is something that we reduce them in our minds because of. When if we can see each other as these infinitely awesome, infinitely beautiful beings, we'll expect less. And I appreciate you, friends, so much for listening to this feeling with me today. 3D printing, right? It's so freaking cool. Thank you for joining me, Marjan. So sorry for tuning out, pretty much as you tune in. I love you to bits. Thank you so much. I love hearing the Afrikaans. Thank you, Jem. I'm so happy to hear that as well. It's fairly common here. That is too funny. I call her Lulu. What a sweet little nickname that is. Friends, I appreciate you eternally. And I appreciate you for being willing to spend this time with me, for being in this relationship, with me. I'll see you again tomorrow, everyone. We went through a phase of naming our kiddos names of locations. Went through a phase like you called them the names of the locations after they had names. You just like would call them, hey, you Texan, you YouTube Texas, you. I feel like I'm a miss. Y'all remember Cartoon Network Adventure Time? I'm actually watching Adventure Time again, Atlas. I'm saying again. I've seen a few episodes on Cartoon Network back in the day, but now I have all of the episodes, and they've been beautiful, friend. Very, very beautiful. Like if you want to rewatch an episode of Adventure Time, go and watch the food chain episode. So trippy, beautifully trippy. I've got a snuggly kitty in my lap this morning. She feels the love. Sharing some petting vibes to that lovely kitty of yours, Isaac. As Americans, in my opinion, yeah, there are. I think there are a few of them. I have come across, and I get what you're saying now as well on being, like as Americans, there was this bout of people calling their kids location names. I've come across many American places and names here. There's even a Georgia in my family, but never a London. So it's so cool that it's popular there. It really is. Interestingly enough, the fact that you've never heard before, on top of it being popular in another country, just shows how our environments influence our perspectives. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. My heart is so, so full, as is mine. I cannot thank you, friends, enough. This relationship we have with one another is so beautiful, and we share this relationship not only in this space, but in Gem space and Uncle Becky, Aunt P, Kama- Kimari, Guns N' Roses, The Garage Father, like like Sensane isn't streaming right now because his laptop broke, but the our ability to be able to share love and having this relationship with one another is surreal to me, and I appreciate you friends for being so loving. You know, I don't think we expect much of one another other than that to be loving. So I thank you for that so much. Love you, Melt. Love you, friends. Love you, Jem. Love you, Kira Burb. Almost named my Emma Gemma. Ooh, what would the odds have been? Emma is my niece. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aunt B. Like, I feel I didn't even want to say something about the Patreon today because, well, like afterwards, if you will, the end. But, like, you friends are the ones sponsoring this video. In the last 2 days, two friends have signed up to the Patreon, and it's like I shouldn't be asking because whatever. Thank you, friends, for just being here, supporting me in this moment. You're doing more than enough. You're doing so much. Thank you eternally. Thank you, Mel, for serving our community. Thank you, Auntie, for doing the exact same. Is Limpopo a name? It could be. There probably is people that's called Limpopo, but it wouldn't be a very popular one. Apologies if I overstepped. No, no, Aunt B. Like, the only thing I see is love. Genuine, just like brightness of love. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me an opportunity to speak about it as well. Because I felt I didn't have the right to speak about it because I've already received energy today. So thank you. Thank you so much. Never, 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 never apologize. Please. You know me. I love you, friends, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, my beloved friends.